Hey guys, Sajady here with Mas on Sunday. Welcome back. Last week just had some travel issues. Couldn't make it. Thanks for the patience, but we're back and we're going to resume talking about why Elon Musk's predictions are wrong and what future tech should be aware of. And it's a very sensitive subject. I know, like Ray Kurzweil, if you've seen or if you read about, say, technological singularity, any of those, and then MIT's studies on the abolishment of humans. Basically, MIT predicts that by 2040, humans will abolish itself. Unfortunately, Ray Kurzweil basically says technological singularity. What that means is that technology rises so high that machine learning, machine intelligence, through artificial intelligence and all that is going to be much higher, much more sophisticated than humans. Right? And then that's where we get disparate or disconnected. And then technological singularity, basically, it's a cross between where technology rises above, say, human consciousness, so to speak, or human intelligence, as Ray would say it. And then that's where things go downhill for humans, and then machines will replace. Just like, the movies Terminator and many of the other movies, there's a few other movies, where they have, a sea of robots and so on like that. So more and more issues or more and more scenarios like that. Is that going to happen? I don't seem to think so. And this is kind of a warning to not just a warning, but actually a clue or an answer on what we could do proper so this doesn't happen. Okay. By the way, when you get to a point, say, for example, Ray Kurzweil, where machines just take over, and he says by about, I forgot the exact time frame, but again, if you look up Ray Kurzweil, technological singularity, or even Elon Musk, we're going to be talking about why Elon Musk and many other individuals' predictions, whether it's MIT, Elon Musk, and any of those highly intelligent individuals, why they're wrong or what happens. And I'll just start with, say, Ray Kurzweil. So Ray Kurzweil predicts by about 2050, 2090, somewhere around there, that there will be a very small number of humans around. And the reason why we're around is just because the AI honors the humans that created them, kind of like a God type scenario, which is kind of strange. But if you really look at the logistics on that, machines don't consume. So, and this is what's wrong with, a lot of, say, the concepts or future vision of any of these highly intelligent individuals. So machines, again, machines don't consume, they don't do anything, they produce things for humans. So if there were no humans, what would the reason be? Okay. They don't have babies. They don't have great experiences. They don't need food. They don't need a lot of things. So why would they be around? There wouldn't be any need for production. There wouldn't be any need for lawyers. There wouldn't be a need for politics. There wouldn't be a need for anything human. So why would they be around? That's the key. We think, or those individuals, and whether they're intelligent or the masses, we think that things will just go normal, and then we're just going to be replaced by machines, and then poof, it's all great. We could be replaced by apes. Back in the day, a few years back, right? Planet of the Apes and so on like that. Somebody else taking over humans, or aliens taking over humans. So whatever it is, the key is, or the main product or the main feature in this scenario, is that there needs to be humans. That's the key. There needs to be humans. It's like, if there's no audience, why would you want to have a play? That makes sense to you, right? There's no purpose. So that's the key. And that's the one key point that everybody's missing, is that humans need to be around. Otherwise, you'll see that humans go extinct. And then what happens is that in about 10,000 years, another form of humans will, say, create itself. kind of like that leap of faith that I talk about in the lecture series or deeper XI topics. So getting back to why Elon Musk's predictions are wrong, what future tech should be aware of. So Neuralink, autonomous cars, memory downloads, learn what's real and what's not. So in this Moss on Sunday, I'm going to go deep and learn which of Elon Musk's predictions is accurate and which ones aren't. I'll attempt to clarify actually what Elon Musk is really saying, or what he's pulling out of what's available out there in the consciousness. And then also the main message that seems like we've not heard, although it's been around us for decades, since the dawn of man. So Yami, if you can play that clip for us.
In the future, you'll be able to save and replay memories. I think almost all cars produced will be autonomous. I don't think we're going to have a choice. The future is going to be weird.
In conversation with Joe Rogan, Elon made an astonishing prediction, stating that with the help of his Neuralink device, humans won't need verbal communication to talk to each other anymore. Hence, all communication will become telepathic in the next 10 years. Take a look.
You would be able to communicate very quickly and with far more precision, and language would, I'm not sure what would happen to language. But you could probably, with a situation like this, you would be able to just, it would be like, kind of like the Matrix. You want to speak a different language, no problem.
Right.
Just wire it, or just download the program.
Whew.
Well,
you'll be able to interface with each other in some sort of a non-verbal, non-physical way, where you will transfer data back and forth to each other without having to actually use your mouth and make noises.
Exactly. So
how many years before you don't have to talk?
If the development continues to accelerate, then maybe like 5 years, 5 to 10 years.
That's quick. That's really quick.
That's the best case scenario.
No talking anymore in 5 years.
Best case scenario.
Hey guys, so we're back. Yeah. So again, what Elon was saying that, we're going to have Neuralinks. Everybody's going to have things in their brain, what he calls Neuralink, and then we can communicate back and forth. He talks about autonomous cars. Well, autonomous cars are here. They self-park and so on like that, which is totally fine. So there's tons of, say, predictions that Elon talks about, and the one key focus that I want to talk about is the Neuralink, where we don't have to, there's going to be a chip in your brain, and then we can communicate with computers, we can communicate with other humans without talking, and then on the Joe Rogan show, that's what he talks about, and that's going to be in about 5 to 10 years. Now, I have no problem with Neuralink or any advanced technology. I'm not saying we should go back to simpler times, because we just can't. Okay? We're always evolving. And I'll explain why we're always evolving, by the way. It's not about, say, intelligent individuals going, hey, we've got this new idea. We've got this new concept that we came up with and we developed. Okay? Because we have to understand where inventions actually come from, where Elon gets his ideas and concepts. Okay? He doesn't create them. That's the key. Almost every technology that's ever been created is not been created by, say, the consciousness or the brain of man. Although they tap into, say, a well of, say, information or a well of knowledge. And here's the key. And some of you might not understand me. Some of you might go, well, shit, what is this guy talking about? But just let it sit with you. Okay. So what Elon is talking about, okay, and we have to understand, okay, where ideas or concepts come from. So here's the key. What Elon is talking about is that there's going to be chips in the brain that, we communicate back and forth and there's no need for communication. Well, here's the kicker. Where did he get the concept, or where did he get the idea of, say, chips in the brain, where we can communicate without without any verbal or any physical communication? Where did we get the concept of, say, transparency, where everything is known about you? Where did we get the concept of, say, connecting with billions of people, like social media and so on, like that? Again, you think it is, say, somebody just developed it in the lab or on the computer. It's like, shit, I got this new idea. It doesn't work that way. It's totally the opposite. What happens, and this is the dire message that hopefully Elon and everybody else would listen to. It's not about that. Let me explain where, say, development or high levels in inventions come from. So you have a consciousness. This consciousness is always adapting. Every second, every minute, it's evolving into a better version of itself. Whether humans come along or not, it doesn't matter. That's the key. It doesn't matter. It's always evolving. If you look at nature, nature looks the same to you, right? Whether it was 1,000,000 years ago, a million years in the future, it's not. It's not. Nature has evolved over time, and measurements, the way electromagnetism works, and all those things. Again, those key, say, principles that we, that guide us in this reality or in this world. Those principles, those measurements, those weights, those standards are always changing. So why is it always changing? Is it because we have better instrumentation? No, it's because space and time are evolving to become more efficient. That's what it's really about. This consciousness, it's not about, again, saving the planet. It's not about any religious reason why, we're here to be tested. And if we're a good person, we're going to go to heaven, all that bullshit. It's not about technology going, hey, this is going to save the world and all that. It doesn't fucking care. It's doing it already. We're evolving to higher and higher levels of technology, whether we know it or not. So where's the break apart? Well, say that there's a consciousness that comes in, okay, and says, hey, you know what? In the future, we need to communicate without verbal communication, without any physical action, without any physical movement. We need to communicate together. Okay? So the consciousness comes through. There's more and more transparency that comes through, and then brilliant minds like, say, Elon goes in and goes, wow, in the future, we're going to be able to communicate non-verbally. And then the missing link is that humans should be able to communicate non-verbally. That's the missing link. But the part that, again, great inventors don't get until later on, great inventors don't get, is that we need to build a machine. We need to invent something that will help us communicate. So they take the human component out and then replace it. This is the problem. This is the problem for technological singularity, what Elon Musk is. And I'm not saying Elon Musk is wrong. We're not going to be able to do that. Sure, we're going to be able to do that. But his assumption that we need technology outside of ourselves to communicate like that, that's what's wrong. Now, there's nothing wrong with individuals who have had brain damage or whatever else. Their brain didn't work for hereditary reasons, or they had an accident and you have a chip in your brain to help with that. I'm not talking about that. But even then, I'll put that aside so we can think more linearly, and then I'll come back to that subject. So as technology rises, and I'll just explain it again, because again, some people might not understand the concepts because I see things from a very, very different perspective. And we'll go back into, say, caveman days, right? At the caveman days, you've got very simple individuals, okay? People go, okay, now higher consciousness, however you want to describe it, or just through evolution, because evolution is a learning mechanism, by the way, and it's built within every cell of our being. Evolution goes, caveman days, wow, okay, we've succeeded, we've arrived at this level, we're good to go. Okay, we'll bring in a new phase of time and space, which is more efficient. And then we'll give new opportunities. So just like, say, kindergarten, caveman days, your kindergarten, right? You learn the basics. Once you learn the basics of how time and space work, nothing else, literally, whatever you do outside or how you learned about time and space, it doesn't matter. So then you go into first grade. And then you get educated, you're good to go, you're strong, you can stabilize yourself. First grade, right? A different version of time and space, a faster version of time and space, a more efficient version of time and space. You can graduate to third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, and so on. Consciousness is the same way. Consciousness, if you don't understand what consciousness is, it's not about being awake or being aware of your reality here. It's not about that. You can find more about consciousness and realities on the Moss Experience on the Best You TV. You can find that on Roku. I think the Best You TV has its own app. You can download the Moss Experience, and I explain what consciousness is and what reality is. Okay, back to our example. So with every, say again, with over time, over evolution, we become better and better and better about understanding how we render or create ourselves in this reality. Okay? As we become more and more efficient, we become more and more adept. Okay. Now we've mastered how we create time and space so well that we would be, at a teenager level, or about basically high school graduate level, about time and space. There's so much more to learn about how time and space works, how frequencies work, how we render this reality, by the way. Okay. So we've come to a teenage level. And again, this is where we've come from a caveman day all the way to where we are today with technology. And it's quite amazing. It's fantastic. It's brilliant. But the one key element through that stage of learning is that we've learned to separate, say, the consciousness or the intelligence that gave us the possibilities or that gave us the teachings and gave us the concepts and ideas that we've used to, say, create this reality. That's the problem. We've separated the consciousness that is supposed to, say, combine the two realities together. Again, human reality and then the consciousness involved. That's the problem. We always tend to separate. Like, for example, transparency. Okay, social media. It was a few years back, right? It was a big kick. We need to know everything about everybody, and it's still going on, by the way. So, where did that come from? Is it technology that came? No, actually not. It's about the consciousness that goes, hey, we need to know about everybody, as an intranet, so to speak. We need to know about what's happening with everybody, not to destroy or not to control, but what it's about is communication and connection. This way, what we can do is learn a lot faster and we can escalate our teachings. And once we learn a lot faster, we can evolve and not make the same mistakes over and over and over again. If you look at human history, what do? We make the same mistakes over and over. The technology increases because that consciousness that we're evolved in, again, at a teenager level, right? The technology is at a teenage level, right? The technology that we're at, our human level has been, say, stunted by, we're still at second or third grade. We still destroy ourselves. We destroy ourselves with our technology. It's not the way it's supposed to be. We destroy ourselves with, the wars, political control, all that. The technology that has come about into this consciousness for man to use it has been used to destroy humans. And that's what's happening today. The technology here at some level, more and more are destroying humans. That's why humans overall are getting dumber and dumber and dumber. And you get to a point where you can't be controlled because you're too dumb. And then again, that's where society starts to falter. Do you know that scientists or those developers who are making garbage traps, for the national forest, right? They have the garbage bins so that bears don't get into them. They have an issue because the smartest bears overlap the intelligence of the dumbest humans. So how do you invent something like that? Again, technology, knowledge for humans are being replaced by technology. And that's really the key. Technology is supposed to superimpose our human abilities so we can go further. Okay? We think that humans are limiting, say, our process of technology. We're really not. We just don't know how to use the human potential. So technology, what happens is you get to a certain level where highly intelligent individuals can't access anything behind that. And that's where I think real technological singularity comes in, where we are so removed from the consciousness or the brilliance that, say, provides or supports us here in this reality, that we can't access anymore. And then we get stunted. And then we basically die because the energy or the frequencies or the support that has evolved us into this level is no more. We've displaced ourselves too far. And as we do, well, we end up, say, committing mass suicide, basically extinction of the human race. So hopefully that makes sense for you. I'm going to answer some some quick questions. Somebody said, Vicky. Oh, Moss, can you address the vertigo several of us are experiencing? Is this an upgrade? Thank you. Yes. So for those who don't know me, again, this is the new human, by the way. And it's not just me. There's a ton of people through the work that I've done called exponential intelligence. Again, exponential intelligence is about human potential. It's about bringing the possibilities of not machines. Again, there's nothing wrong with machines. There's nothing wrong with technological advances, but those machines are supposed to support humans to evolve to a higher level. And then we build better machines that support human, that give us a higher level. And then humans evolve, and then we create better machines, and so on, and so on, and so on. In this case, basically, machines are going one way, humans are going that way. And whenever there's a split, something has to go extinct. Okay. So the vertigo that you're feeling, yes, over time, I've managed to develop my frequencies that are so powerful now that many of you are experiencing it. Even when I'm not consciously, say, creating or, say, sending out frequencies. This is what Elon Musk literally should be focusing on. How do we develop the human potential? Okay. He would benefit greatly with XI, his technology that it uses, whether it's for Tesla, for the robots, or even SpaceX, that would evolve that technology into a consciousness. This is what we're supposed to be doing, into a consciousness that say merges the two together. Again, technology consciousness is at a high school level. Human consciousness is at a second or third grade level. That's the disparity. What XI does, and I'm a perfect example of it. And by the way, I'm not the only one. Okay? Through the decade that I've worked on hundreds of thousands of people, many of you who are here, have you noticed, say, the amazing changes that are far beyond magical? Again, it's not magic. It's about pulling in our own consciousness or our own abilities to be the purest potential of who we could be. Again, limitless beings. So XI is the process of how to use technology to advance humans in the proper way so we expand. This way we don't get decrepit. This way, if we had higher level consciousness come in, we would not have the diseases that we would have. We would not have, for example, heart issues. We would advance beyond that. You might think, well, shit, that's far-fetched. Is it? Animals do it all the time. And I've said this over and over again. say any species, lion, rabbits, whatever, they have heart issues, they have heart disease. In 1 or 2 generations, they'll create a consciousness that evolves beyond the problems of, say, heart issues. And then what happens? No more heart issues for that species. It happens over and over again in the animal. We have to follow that natural pattern, right? What we do is like heart issues for some reason show up. We create, I don't know, surgery, or we create whatever, okay? That generation didn't learn from how do we create this, or how do we solve this internally at a genetic frequency so we don't have to have it again. What do? We use a crutch. And I'm not saying medicine is bad or anything, but again, we're using it for the wrong purpose. We're using everything, no matter what it is, to destroy or disable us, to make us weaker. We're supposed to look at the vaccines, look at COVID, look at those things are supposed to make human structures stronger so we can evolve to a higher space so we can handle the virus. Again, nature does it all the time. We don't. We get weaker and weaker, and then we need more technology, again, to strengthen us. It's not going to work out that way. It never does. It never has. Look at all the fantastic civilizations back in the day that were at the top of their prime. And then what happened? They disappeared. Boom. Just like that. So it's not about the technology. It's not about the money. It's not about anything like that. It's about how well you can handle space and time, how well you can bend space and time to bring out your purest potential, your limitless self of who you are. Where we are right now as humans, very, very limited, right? We've lost ourselves in the technology. We've lost ourselves in social media and all the games. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but we're using it to destroy ourselves. Not about, say, connecting ourselves, not about expanding ourselves, nothing like that. And that's the dire warning I have for great individuals, highly intelligent individuals like Elon. I think he'd do great having a session with me, because he could actually understand, he could actually connect. That's like, oh shit, we can create machines that actually enhance our natural abilities. A lot like the Iron Man scenario, right? Where he has an overlay. He can see heartbeat. He can see some of the things that we can't see, right? In his helmet. And again, that enhances his abilities. It doesn't destroy you. So I'll leave you with that. Let's see if there's any other questions. Oh, I didn't explain the vertigo and so on like that. So what happens, and this is how humans should evolve, okay? And this is why we need to, and I didn't explain a lot of things for you. Sorry about that. So social media, transparency, right? Back in the day when social media came about, right? There's a consciousness that says, hey, you know what? For humans to evolve to a next level, for nature, for this earth to evolve to a next level, we need to communicate between each other, and we need more transparency. Okay. We need more transparency because everybody has to learn from everybody else. If we don't, we'll have to repeat this over and over again. We can say have a combined, say, lab experience of the billions of people, 7.8 billion people who are here, who are experiencing so many different scenarios. Why not just put it all together? And then we don't have to make the same freaking mistakes over and over again, right? Like we did back in the day, like we did back in history. There's a pocket here that did something. And then later on, 10 years later, that same pocket, say in another population, another segment, in another geographical location, will make the same mistake. The third world countries, they're making the same freaking mistakes as, people, countries who have come forth, right? They're first world countries. Again, what's the problem? They didn't learn from the first world. So to alleviate that, the consciousness dictates, again, I've called it the purity wave back in the day. Purity wave goes, hey, this is very inefficient, right? You've got the head doing one thing, you've got the hand doing one thing. It's not very efficient. Let's combine them. How do we combine it? Transparency. So the consciousness comes through as transparency. High level intelligent individuals, great inventors come through. It's like, shit, transparency. Oh yeah, we can use that transparency. What we need to do is not evolve humans, but what we need to do is we need to spy. We need to have Google. We need to have Facebook. We need to have the government. We need to have your mother. Everybody know everything about you so we can use you and we can control you. The consciousness is going, no, fuck no. That's not about that. It's about us coming all together, knowing our strengths, knowing our weaknesses, seeing why we've created those weaknesses, and then growing from it. Okay. By the way, I know everything about you. I can tap into anybody. I can read anybody, dead or alive. I don't see, your personal, say, artifacts or patterns. I don't need that. I'm not a psychic. I see your algorithms. Okay. That's what it's about. So once you understand algorithms, like I do, right, like many of you are, you get to go, shit, that's not the best version. That's not the best program for me. And then you evolve. This is how you evolve. So I've come to a point where, again, it's consciousness. I've tapped into that consciousness. I help you tap into that consciousness to evolve yourself to a higher level. Okay. And then what happens is that, well, we've created a whole brand of, say, new humans, so to speak, those who have massively changed their life, right? They're a hell of a lot better off. They're healthier. They don't age. And this is just the beginning. This is about getting us back on center where we shouldn't have the diseases that we do. We shouldn't, say, age the way we do. I'm not aging that way. This is about high-level humans. And then just imagine what we could do where we don't have to deal with this bullshit over and over and over again. There are so many freaking possibilities out there that I see, guys, that we even haven't scratched the surface on. And we're still dealing with the same shit that, again, a virus that happened back in the 1700s. It's a different virus, but it's the same shit. From the 17 or maybe even the 1400s. We're doing the same thing over and over again. We have to evolve past that. Again, once we evolve past that, the possibilities, the technological advances that are out there, it won't be there to destroy us. We'll have energy. We'll have whatever that we need. Again, that will support us. Even money will be very different. We're so limited on how we think, or the people that say want to direct us. It's all about money. The World Forum, I did a huge talk on, say, the new, I forgot the, it was about the World Forum. If you take a look at the if you, or the team, it's the new world paradigm, basically. And again, it's all about the money. It's not about the money. Okay? This thing is that's the physical things that we strive about is only 1%. We're missing the whole 99% of who we are. So again, technological advances have to merge together for us to evolve into our 99%, not to separate us. All right. Somebody's talking about epigenetics. Epigenetics, again, just scratching the surface on frequencies. It's really fantastic, but XI goes way beyond. Epigenetics are frequencies, are physical frequencies. What XI is about, exponential intelligence. Are you exponentially intelligent? By the way, ask yourself that. Epigenetics, XI frequencies. Epigenetics, again, are physical frequencies, communication between, say, cellular structure.
The Great Reset.
Oh, the Great Reset. Thanks. They said the Great Reset I was talking about. So if you have a chance, it's on the website. It's called the Great Reset, by the way. So epigenetics, again, physical frequencies, again, really fantastic. Sound waves, sound therapy, and so on. XI goes much deeper. XI goes into, say, that timeless realm, that bridge between the timeless realm and the time-bound realm, where frequencies are generated or frequencies are initiated. All right. Some of you asking for a scan. Yes. So next week, guys, we're going to be talking about why future vision, and that's one of our abilities that we have, by the way, why future vision is a lot better than data analysis, computer simulation, and all those things. So again, the next wave in technology is going to be future vision, because it's going to be more accurate about predicting the future. Because back in the day, whether it's facts, compiling data, right, computer simulation, or anything like that, they've been wrong. They've been hugely wrong. So how can we get more and more accurate? Well, by using future vision. And that's something that I can teach all those brilliant individuals that have fantastic brains to, again, fast forward humanity. Oh, yeah. All right. So, oh, and back to the vertigo. Somebody was saying that ginger is a great supplement to help you with vertigo, but the vertigo you're feeling is not a physical frequency. Again, that might help you. It literally is the frequencies that I'm generating for you that will, say, shift you. So as you shift, you'll get, say, disoriented or distorted. Okay, that's how powerful it is, and you'll experience that right here, right now. We, at the end of every month, we have individuals that I analyze live on here just to show you an example. I'm not proving anything to you guys. I've had hundreds of thousands of individuals who have worked on case studies and so on like that. I know this stuff works. Many of you know this stuff works. So again, it's not about proving anything to you. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. It still happens. Right? I'm just showing you the possibilities. Simple as that. Vertigo is caused by reality distortion. That's what's happening, by the way. Your reality is distorted, getting distorted to allow you to into, say, a brighter, brilliant focus. So, Elon's predictions on, say, Mars. Again, if we carry the same consciousness, and we've done it over and over again, it's just a different planet, so to speak, right? We've gone from one country, discovered another country or location, discovered another one over and over and over again. And what have we done? We haven't gone anywhere. We've replicated the same pattern. That cannot happen. We go to Mars, we'll replicate the same pattern. That will not happen. If you guys ever see the movie Don't Look Up, it's really a funny ass movie. It's really, really funny. Take a look at that. Again, it's like same bunch of people go to another, the Earth gets destroyed, same bunch of people go to another planet, and they'll fuck it up again. Again, the key is that we need to resolve the problems here in this reality before we go to Mars. And there's also other aspects of Mars as well that nobody realizes except exponential intelligence, where it's not about, say, pressure or anything like that, or density of air. It literally is that up at that level in Mars, space-time functions differently than it does here, and nobody takes that into, say, consideration. All right, let's move on. Elon says crypto Web3 will not work. What do you think? Actually, he's, from what I'm seeing, Web3, there's a big component that's missing. What they've done is, and again, I can tap into anything. And that's why a lot of companies hire me to see what's going on, with new inventions and so on like that. So with Web3, there's a big chunk that that they can't figure out. I could probably help them with that. But there's a big chunk that they're trying to figure out. But what they've done is that to resolve it, they've used old technology or old knowledge or an old platform to go, oh, well, we can't figure it out. We'll just use this in its place. Boom. It doesn't work that way. It's very similar to when the internet came, right? You have dinosaurs like ADP, processing systems, the airline industry, very, very archaic computers, by the way, airline industry. What they did was they didn't, say, displace or, replace the old archaic dinosaurs because it's too expensive. What they did is, like, they made a language, a translator kit, basically, right? Where they translated all that stuff into so it's still running on a dinosaur system back from, one of the very few first computers. So it's a lot like that. Web3, that's the big, say, issue with it, or the Achilles heel on that. You'd have to resolve that. Otherwise, it's going to kick them in the ass. So I can see what he's saying. Will it work? Yeah, it'll work. But All right. So let's bring on, is it Terry? And then we'll give time to scan you guys. Terry, are you here?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Moss.
Hi, Terry. How are you?
Nice to meet you in person. Great.
Oh, nice seeing you. So Terry, I've never like worked on you. You're new. Or what do you, what have you?
We had a session and I had a success. You
Okay.
worked on my husband's studies.
Okay. So I've worked on you before.
He's now staying.
Okay.
Yeah, the 18 days. Yes.
Oh, the 18 days. Have we had a one-on-one session or no?
Yes, we had a one-on-one session. You worked on my
awesome.
husband and me a little bit. We're going on a new venture.
Okay, great. So again, I don't remember anything that we did because I work on tens of thousands of people. So what changes have you seen from that session or starting into say XI and now?
My husband,
and then I'll scan you.
During Christmas time, I have a lot of anxiety. I host a big family function and I was very calm and peaceful the whole month, which was very unusual. My daughter has my anxiety and she's going to work in the as placing kids in the foster care as lead attorney. She just started. So,
oh, wow.
But so I saw success. Yes, starts to make a difference. And my husband's singing and he's more present. This morning before he went off to California, he gave me the longest hug. Before it was like a hug and go, he's always work. So you clear the terror away from his mother's childhood trauma. So I'm grateful. Very grateful.
How can you talk?
I get my own way of my own gift.
Okay. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about, say, clearing that your husband's childhood trauma? I mean, how does he experience that? Or
he was yes, he did. And he was kidnapped as a child to South Africa, 5 kids by his mom, and Bob finally found him
got it.
when he was playing Little League on TV. So, and even though he was happy there, it was traumatic.
So how does he experience that now? Like when you say he cleared it up,
it blocked his abundance for a while. And you said something that was very interesting. Retired at age 38. And he said when he has a lot of money, he wants to die. And I asked him that, how do you feel when you make abundance of money and want to die? And you clear that away. So hopefully we can make lots of money, a successful business now.
Got it. So overall, so where you are, again, you guys are very new. If you don't mind me reading you, if that's okay, and then obviously sharing it with the public because we're on public forum. Yeah, so I can scan you. So right where you are now, Terry, is that in the past, again, a lot of anxiety, a lot of tension. No matter what you did, no matter what you're trying to do, there was always that anxiety and tension with you. Even if you were, say, having some joyous experience, there was always, say, tension around you. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. So what you've done, again, the past, say, month, 2 months, I don't know how long it's been, but very recently, not too long. And again, this would probably take, decades to resolve in therapy or anything else, if it resolves at all. So where you are now, especially through the holidays were highly important for you. And that's why you probably brought it up, because you start to observe all the patterns that are in the family paradigm. Does that make sense to you? Like you're seeing, oh shit, my mom was like this, my aunt's like this, my uncle's like this. I run the same pattern. So you're observing your genetic makeup or your hereditary patterns from an outside perspective as an observer. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I'm also been a hypnotherapist for 30 years. I'm retired now, but yes, I'm aware of the mind.
Yep. And then being a hypnotherapist, what you've done to help people, because, when people run your type of patterns, Terry, what you do is like you feel insecure or you feel incomplete. And it's not about anything. It's not about money issues. It's not about anything like that. By the way, like I said, the more money you make, the more insecure that you'll feel, the more, say, tense that you'll feel, and then the more you'll latch on. So what you've done in the past is that, say hypnotherapy, and a lot of people, like you, whether you're a psychologist or hypnotherapist or anything like that, you want to resolve your own problem. So the way you would resolve a problem is like you meet somebody new and that calms you down for a bit. Does that make sense? Back in the day, you'd connect with people.
Oh, back in the day.
Yeah.
And footnote here. You did clear all my past clients, which I didn't know they were in my energy field. And an hour later, I had a sense of mourning. I said, wow, they're leaving me. And I didn't even know they were there. And that was really cool.
Yeah, it is. So, and that's really the key. So people that run your patterns, the way you solidify yourself is literally connect with other people's problems. It's like, hey, I'm going to solve your problem. I'm going to help you, okay, solve your problem. And then what you do for me is like you keep me in space and time. So what you do and how you do that, Terry, is like you pull their frequencies or their burdens into you, especially in the midsection here, from what I'm seeing. Your gut,
yes.
And then the groin area. And then, unfortunately, you
That's
age
why I
faster.
stopped. My gut would start. Well, I'm 65 now, so.
Wow, you look great. So what you've done, again, and where you are now, and will help you with it, is that all the patterns that you're running, all the people that you've held burdens onto, you're pushing them away. You're pushing them outside of you, if that makes sense to you. And you're going, wait a second, I don't need grandma's patterns of, it seems like grandma has hip issues or midsection issues. Yeah. You kind of feel like your grandma, your midsection feels like your grandma's. Does that make sense to you? Does she have hip issues or?
Yes, that's close to her.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I had some hip problem during the 80 days. Yeah.
Yep.
It subsided.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because you don't have to age like your grandma. And this is what I was talking about. Again, we're supposed to evolve, not recreate our patterns. Okay. Humans recreate our patterns, not just technologically, but again, at a, say, human structure level. So say grandma, and I'm seeing a lot of your grandma's patterns, hip issues, say self-doubt that comes from your grandma, not trusting your intuition or going, shit, I know. It's like, you should go a certain direction. And then what happens is that you don't do it. And then later on you go, damn, I should have trusted my instinct. Does that make sense to you? How that
Yes.
happened?
That's one thing that's something I was going to ask you. My mind gets in the way because I'm very intuitive, have a lot of spiritual gifts, and I'm just not using them right now.
So even that, I see an identical pattern in your grandma. So that's not even your stuff, Terry. That's grandma's pattern.
Okay. All right.
So that's grandma's pattern coming into you. Nature goes, hey, you know what? Grandma did it for some reason. It was beneficial, but I'm not grandma. This is a different experience. This is a different scenario. This is a different environment. Let's say amp that up so we can use it properly. So again, we don't learn from past mistakes. So now what's happening is that you've separated yourself from all that. You separated from all the people that you've, say, absorbed into you to hold you in space and time. And now it's like, hey, Moss, can you help me, say, disconnect, say, completely, or push all those patterns further away? So let's go ahead and do that. And for those people, again, I'm not just working on Terry, for the rest of you especially who run similar patterns, let's just take a quick breath in. Terry, for you specifically, note your midsection, your groin area. And then for any other individual that kind of runs the same pattern, you might have it like in the back of you. Your husband basically carries a lot of burdens in the neck and top back, if that makes sense to people. Shoulders, top back. So we'll work on that as well. So we'll work on you and your husband. And do you have a kid, or did you lose
slip in my grandson? He had anesthesia. My grandson, he had anesthesia at 10 recently, and he's not quite right?
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So, okay. I thought it was your son. Close enough. Grandson.
Grandson.
Got it. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
he's like,
yeah. So that,
should
yeah,
have been
because
my
he
son.
seemed a little younger than, for your age to be at that. Okay. So it's your grandson that I'm seeing. Yeah. He had some kind of, he just seems like whatever happened in the hospital, it displaced him. So he doesn't feel like himself. He's like not connected well. Does that make sense to you? He's like, you look at him and he's like full of joy, but there's a numbness to his life, or he doesn't experience life the way he should. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, he's very loving, but he's very scattered, and he gets very frustrated. Yeah.
Yep. The reason is because he sees all the possibilities of what's happening, but he can't utilize it because he's not connected to his body. So he's kind of looking at life through a glass window. It's like, shit, I wish I could experience life, but I can't be involved in life. I'm looking at life. So I would suggest
he's very active. He's very active. Yes.
Yeah. He's very active, but then frustrated as well, because he's always trying to break that glass and come into his body where he can actually experience it. So I would suggest a session for that. But back to you. I'll take a breath in. There we go. And what we'll do, Terry, for you is that you've done a great job doing the 18-day hyper meditations, maybe total human reset, private session, whatever else that you've done. You've done a great job separating your identity, separating those identities that weren't you, and you've like put it out in the garage basically for the trash man to take away. So I'm your friendly trash man. Let's just take it away, and then what'll happen for you most likely is that you'll feel a lot lighter, especially in the midsection groin area. This is where you start to age younger. This is where you go, wait a second, I don't have to have grandma's hip problems anymore. That's advanced technology, guys. Again, this is how we go, shit, now we need surgery. Now we need, a walker. Now we need, hip replacement. You really don't. We can evolve into a pattern just like Terry is. Again, you can validate that there's hundreds or thousands of people that aren't aging like their parents or society is, guys. That's how much, ingenuity, that's how much, possibilities that we have. So for Terry, for you, you'll start to go, hey, you know what? I don't have to have hip problems like my grandma. I don't have to have the indecision process like my grandma or, your father. Your father has blood issues or circulation issues from what I'm seeing.
Yes.
You're going to look at that, whatever it is in the chest area, circulation, blood. For him, his blood is, and again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not diagnosing or anything, Terry, but for him to help him out, he might need some help medically. His blood is very viscous or very thick, and then it gets very thin. So it's thick and it messes his circulation up or his heart patterns up. And this is where he might get, like arrhythmia or something like that. No, your father.
Okay.
Your father.
He's passed on.
Oh, that's how he passed on.
If
He's still around.
Yeah.
Well, that's why he crossed over.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
You have that propensity. Again, I'm not diagnosing you. I'm just telling you what I see. I could be totally all off, but you don't have to run that pattern. Does that make sense?
Oh, right.
On how or whatever he crossed over from. Yeah. He seems really, he's here. So let's just disconnect him as well. So what happens is that consciousness disconnects. The physical essence is still there. You're carrying the burdens, or, his kids carry the burdens. And then again, they start to replicate some of the diseases. There we go. So we release that. Take a breath in. Just notice your chest, your heart, and maybe the wounds or the pain of your father, not being here. Those things start to resolve.
Yes, I get acid reflux. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So whatever that is, again, it's that presence of your father or the heaviness of, not healing properly. There we go. All right. How are you feeling?
Light.
Yeah. So
good. Yes.
Yeah.
And you told me I had to let go for the last 2 weeks. Yes, I did. I was detoxing in the last 2 weeks. since I talked to you.
Yeah. So you're going to be letting go. Like I said, you're shedding a lot of stuff off you. So, which is really fantastic. Okay. We have to move on. Anything else that we need to, that questions? Okay. All right. So let's move on to John.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terry. We'll move over to John here. By the way, guys, again, I don't claim to diagnose. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose or heal. I scan your frequency signature and tell you what I see. So consult your doctor or seek professional advice. Hey, John, how are you?
Hi, Mass. Yeah, it's quite unusual for me. I'm feeling quite tense listening to you for some reason. It's made me feel, I don't know, a bit strange.
Yeah. What work have you done with me, or XI?
I've done nothing, Mass. It's more to do, a friend of mine
awesome.
has been involved with you, and she recommended. I have a wife that has bipolar, and for the last, what are we talking about? The last 20 years, really, she's been on and off, and she has like a 2-year cycle where she goes really ill. And she becomes suicidal. But the huge problem I have as a person, she's taking longer and longer. She took 19 months last time to get better. And this time she went down in September. She still hasn't achieved any sort of progress as far as getting better. And
I can explain all that, by the way, John, for you. I can explain all that from a very high level or first principle reason on why that would happen for you. So let me explain it, and then you tell me if I'm accurate or not. How does that sound?
Yes, fine.
You basically married somebody like your mom, so to speak. There's a feminine presence. Your wife is just more an accelerated version of your mom. Your mom felt like she was always.
She's not actually, Mass. No, she's not actually. She's probably the complete opposite in some respects.
Okay.
My mum was, always happy, very happy-go-lucky. She was a widow at a very early age, and she brought up 3 kids. Struggled, but she never burdened us with anything. She never had any mental illness. My wife's family is a bit different. Her mum had the same sort of similar problems. We've always treated it as a hereditary problem, but not the same.
Yeah. So let's just put it this way: your mom might not have treated you the same way as your wife, but your mom basically had the same, say, tendencies, but she kept it secret. I just see that there's a secret life. She basically separated, say, all the distortions, distractions. She loved you kids. She didn't want to get you involved. Does that make sense? But she went through the same process as, say, your wife. Your wife, a lot more extreme, basically. So the difference is that, she went through that, but she had a capability of like holding it all together, so to speak. And this is very key for you, is that she separated one life issues, like, shit, I've got all these problems. I had a husband that died early on. She seems like she might have lost 2 kids or so on, or somebody around her family lost 2 kids that devastated the family. So all those, say, familiar problems, she goes, I'm going to stay strong for my kids and show a good, strong, say, identity. Does that make sense? It's a separation. Does that make sense to you?
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So the key for that, John, is that you're running the same pattern. Okay. So, and this is why I said your wife and your mom might be the same. You run the same pattern as your mom. So basically what you do to survive in your relationship with your wife is, there's a John that handles this issue here, the wife, and then there's another John that goes, this is the real me. So there's a problem, and then this person, this. So there's 2 identities in you. Does that make sense to you?
Does make sense.
Yeah. So take a breath in, buddy. And that's the key. So no matter what you do, say for some reason, you're disconnected from your wife. No matter what happens to your wife, whatever it is, you'll connect with, say, a business. I see a business with you. Do you have a business or something like that? There's a career that it grew into something, and then you had to separate yourself. And then it's like, shit, I got to start over.
Did that, yeah.
Yep. Does that make sense to you?
It's some time ago, but that happens, yeah.
Yep. So the key is, and again, no matter what it is, do you see the pattern? Something happens, an event, a situation, success, love, health, whatever it is, what'll happen for you is that, okay, this is the problem. For me to maintain it, I have to like separate myself and then operate on this and just wait, so to speak, for the problem to go away. The problem never goes away though, John. You've done the problem thing of going away when you were 15, from what I'm seeing. It's like, yeah, I'll just wait and then it'll separate. And then at 22, it's almost like you ran away or you moved away or whatever. It's like a problem, I'll separate. Does that make sense to you? Yeah.
Yeah. To a certain extent, yeah.
Yep. So take a breath in, and for John, and then for any of you who run, say, a situation that you can't get away from, you either try to escape, but then the leash is so short you can't escape. It literally pulls you back. Because sometimes I see you kind of escaping again in your early 20s, but it's like, fuck, the problem found me again. So the key is, it's not the problem. You can't resolve the problem. You have to resolve the problem that you're in. You have to resolve the pattern or the algorithm, John, that you're running. And that's what we'll do right here for you. If you're ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready, yeah.
Are you sure?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So and I know you don't believe me, because it's like you've tried a hell of a lot of things. That's so I can read you. It's like, well, we'll give it a try. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe. I love people like you, because you're just in that neutral state. You've tried everything, literally everything, even talking to God and all this stuff. I don't know. It seems like you've gone to certain people and so on that claim they can talk to that connection, higher connection, or you're searching for that, if that makes sense to you. Yeah. From what I'm seeing. Yeah. So I love people like you. Those people that, they're like, well, what the fuck? I'll give it a try because I have nowhere else to go. So
yeah, it's scary. It's quite scary.
It's scary. It is. Yep. And the reason why you're so tense is because that separation, you're going to have to come to terms with, say, what you're facing. Okay. And it's a good thing. So once you face it, what happens to you, John, and people like you, that people who have helped successfully, is that your problem is huge. And you're small and you're trying to separate yourself. But this shadow always, again, there's a shadow that is always over your life. What I'm doing for you is like, wait a second. This is only momentary. Okay. You're not seeing the bigger picture. So basically what happens is that your problem shrinks. You expand. And then you'll see that it's not like you get rid of your wife or anything like that, but you see that you can, say, keep going in your life and expand while helping your wife as well. By the way, I would suggest a session with your wife, and I'll explain the issues with your wife, by the way, especially as suicide and so on becomes more and more rampant. I did this thing on Chelsea. I forgot his last name. Miss America. She committed suicide last week. So take a look at that, by the way. Take a breath in, John. Notice your spine. And your ribs. Again, whether you believe or not, it doesn't matter, because I bypass all that, because it's not psychology, belief systems, anything like that. It literally is how you render yourself in space-time. Breath in again. Notice your jawline, your face, because there's two Johns, so to speak. One that faces the wife and that kind of pattern. And then almost, it's like your whole facial identity changes when you switch from one to, say, another, say, reality of yours. So you're running, say, two realities at the same time. And that's how you've managed yourself. Oh, shit. So 2, 3, 4 years old, that's where you start. I see you in a situation where you can't escape because you're only 2, 3, and then you run away, say at a deeper level. So say your consciousness, your physical body stays there, but you try to escape or run away. So for some reason, and we don't have to get into the family stuff. Breath in again. Did your seems like your father wasn't there?
Well, my father was an invalid, and 3 or 4 years of age, I can remember him chasing me behind a settee. He had a walking stick, and it was quite. I still remember it now.
Yes.
And he could be quite ill-tempered because he had multiple sclerosis, and that I still have recollections of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's deep rooted or not, but I have recollections of it. Yeah.
Well, I'm picking it up, John. So, so that's why I'm telling you to notice your spine, because you're 2, 3, 4 years old. Get it? You're looking at your father, and this is how it all happens, by the way. Genetic makeup, DNA, is that you're looking at your father and you're going, shit, he's male, I'm male, I'm supposed to look like that, or I'm supposed to have those issues, or a replica or the opposite of those issues. Okay. He's like, I don't know, 40, 50, whatever it is. It's like, shit, that's my future. Basically, that's what your DNA is telling you. And then you'll have those problems. So I kind of see you with, say, back type problems or similar to your father. I'm not saying you have the same thing, but memories of that are still inside your bone structure, because that's what you're observing as a child, not just what's happening. And then you're running away, but physically you can't run away because, again, you're a lot smaller than your father and you're confined in the house. So spiritually or frequency wise, your timeless self, your, say, spirit, whatever, however you want to call it, basically your presence starts to slip away. So you create 2 identities for yourself. And that's basically, say, the gist of your life, creating 2 identities. One that has to resolve this problem or deal with a problem. And then the other that's like, shit. And then when is the real me gonna start living life? That's another big issue with you. Does that make sense to you? You're always waiting to like start life. It's like, well, when I get older, when I get 10, 11, 12, and then this problem with the dad thing goes away. And then, when you get 15, it's like, well, shit, I'll just wait till it goes away. So you're always waiting for life to happen. Even now, it's like, I can't wait till my wife has her issues and resolved so I can start life, that kind of pattern. So let's get rid of that for you. Breath in. There we go. So we have to move on, but I would suggest doing the 18-day hyper meditations coming up in March for you. The elevation for you, John, would be really good. It's just once a month. It'll get your feet wet with XI, where, you get comfortable with the definitions, the frequencies, and even the essential, which I would suggest you do, not the advanced, just the essential would be powerful enough to help you like shift. And even this session, you'll start to see how you separated yourself. So if you feel like 2 of you, if you feel like, oh shit, this John has a lot of problems, I can't do anything right, seems like, and then boom, you switch it over to this John, and it's like, shit, everything's good. I have possibilities. I have a future. I have, great ideas. So again, those 2 Johns, which really conflict here mentally, if that makes sense. It's like, why am I so limited here? Why am I, say, limitless here? That messes you up as well. You've done a great job, by the way, going, on the limitless side, but you're dragging the limited side behind. Quickly for your wife, what happens is that over time, and again, not diagnosing, I'm just telling you, I can help her. I can't guarantee anything, but for her, basically what happens is that she gets pulled out of her body. Like her right side is, I don't know, it's kind of deformed, or something's going on where she literally, her presence gets pulled out by something. In her family, they believe in dark entities, a lot of dark religion. They're very, very, say, superstitious. Maybe not her present family, but grandma, grandpa, that level, or even further. And literally, it's like, if you're not a good person, or if you're not a good girl, the devil is going to come and just grab you. So she's always afraid of that pattern. So if you ask her, it's like, shit, that's what, in her younger days. So basically, she's created an identity, or say a reality simulation, where she's always like worried about getting pulled out. And then over time, what happens is that you'll find that if you look back, you'll find that over time, she'll get more and more and more fearful, and more despondent. And then she gets to the point where she's pulled, it's like this, she's pulled out of her essence, presence so far, and then it gets disconnects. And again, that Chelsea, you can take a look at it. I think it's on YouTube. It disconnects, and it's like, shit, I have to commit suicide, because again, it's got nothing to do with your life. It's about a disconnection of your timeless identity, your time-bound identity. And that's where she becomes like suicidal, really dark, really depressed. She finds herself in a corner, in a really, really dark corner, and that's all she can see. There's no light. And then what'll happen is that she might go blank. She might get lethargic. Sometimes people just zone out. And then it gives her time to pull her back in. So I can just work on her, and you can see the changes right away for her, probably. Take a breath in, John. Notice your head space, because that's where her issues are. There we go. And what I'll do is, let's bring her closer to herself. And that'll actually, say, help you believe that there are higher, say, frequencies or higher laws that dictate this reality. There we go. Where you see your wife and it's like, shit, why is she so different? Because she's closer to her identities. There we go. And that'll make you believe, I don't care if you believe in me or not, but it's like, shit, my life has changed, or her life has changed. Your life will change as well. By the way, if you break down, John, it's okay. It's a breakdown of that layer, that thicker wall that you've created, and then you merge together. All right. There we go. Are you feeling any questions? Was it all bullshit, or it's like, whoa, what the fuck happened here?
Not really, Mass. No, I've got no questions. No. Yeah, my wife.
Is that your wife?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
She probably felt the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why she's in.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you'll see her as like, what the hell happened? You might have to calm her down. The best way to do that, spatial referencing, touch her on the shoulders. It'll pull her here where she's not as scared. Okay. It's like, when a little kid is really, really scared, you just like rub them on the shoulders. It's like, it's okay, honey, I'm here. That's all you have to do. You don't have to say anything, but just touch her on the shoulders, not saying anything. And then you'll see her like come into her, say, presence. So, okay. It's really amazing stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Give it a try. And then we'll connect with you and see how you feel in about 2-3 weeks. All right, buddy?
Yeah. All right. Cheers, Mess. Thanks for your time.
Right. You bet. You
Lovely.
take care.
Cheers, mate. Thanks. Bye.
You bet. All right, guys. As promised, we'll just jump in. What did you think about that, guys? What did you think about the scans? Yep. All right. Getting a lot of good comments. Yeah, she'd probably get a little scared, by the way. Yep, looking very different. Oh, yeah, there's, after you work on hundreds of thousands of cases, guys, it's like, I know a couple like John and his wife, so similar. Wife comes from a very religious, dark family, and she's so afraid of the devil. Yep. After you work on hundreds of thousands of like scenarios, it's like, oh yeah, It's just a program. You all think that your life is so particular, so different. It's not. There's billions of people. There's just scenarios, patterns that people run. It's just an algorithm. Yeah, it might really mess John up for a little bit. Yeah, you can find this one is has anyone in here been scanned before? Can you tell me about your results? Yeah, there's a testimonial page on the website. If you join the 18 days, elevation, by the way, starts tomorrow. So take a look at that. And guys, if you've been analyzed or changed, so this one, Anna White, I've been on Brilliant Minds lecture and Medis. Can you help me expand and own it? Feeling ready? Yes. So what you've done, Anna, is really fantastic for you. In the Brilliant Minds lecture, again, that's when XI really starts, and that's for level 3, 4 individuals. Okay, because you want to fix and you want to clean up your stuff. You want to have a solid foundation, and then when you do that, that's where I said XI begins. Most of the time, XI is used for, again, like cleaning John's stuff up, or the person before. So that's about healing yourself, so to speak. But then that's not where XI is about. XI is pulling out your potential. This is for those 1%ers who have everything, so to speak, but they don't. They want to go to that next level. And when I say have everything, they might have a lot of money and a lot of talent and all that, but there's still something that's missing. So this puts in what's missing. I forgot to. Yeah. So the Brilliant Mind. So what you've done, Anna, is, again, you're ready. You're ready to let go of that pattern, even at a deeper level. Your facial structure even seems like it's changing from what I'm seeing. It's a whole new identity coming about. So the next, I would say, month or two, literally a whole new identity is coming about. By the way, if I scan you, please comment back. So Anna, comment back on how accurate I am. And it's not about me knowing I know I'm accurate. It just allows you to go, shit, where did you get that? Where did you get that information? It opens the possibilities for you to go, hey, where is that? How do I connect to it? This one, Cindy Moss, please, can you scan my daughter, 5 years? She's complaining of stomach pain for 2 months. Again, not a doctor or anything like that. I'll just tell you what I see. When she was born, something happened. So she was delivered improperly. It's almost like the impingement in the neck area, in the nerves. So you want to check that out. Again, you might go to a chiropractor, or even get some x-rays or whatever. Again, I'm not a doctor. I could be all wrong. I'm just telling you what I see. But the nerves that go into, say, the lower section of her is just not right. And she might, if you look at her, she might always be rubbing her neck or whatever. That's that kind of scenario. So, and she's very sensitive to corns. So if you're feeding her, or if you did feed her, formula and all that, corn products, guys, that's the worst thing. Gerber and all those other carnation, they should be really ashamed of themselves and really look into what really is beneficial for infants, right? Not just making a buck, because that's responsibility, right, for industry. So again, your child, your infant, should have a lot of fat, a lot of cholesterol, and then no sugars. What society does is the total freaking opposite. And that's why a lot of women have bone issues. A lot of women have nerve issues. Society's gotten dumber. Why do you think that is? We need to go back to our original self and again, increase or enhance who we are, not destroy who we are, and then try to replace ourselves. That's just a fucked up concept, by the way. This one, Marie M. Hamos would love a scan, please. Some of you are going, well, how does he do that? Again, you can use your wrong name or anything like that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, because it's not about tapping into, say, like, I'm not a psychic. It's again, I don't need you to know your name. I don't need to know your birthday. I don't need to know any of that. It's your frequency that's coming through, even through a text, even through a comment. It's your frequency that's coming through. that I can tap into. So Marie, Hemos, would you love a scan, please? Yeah, so there's part of you that always is been dominated or is dominated by a masculine frequency. So sometimes you're really feminine, sometimes you're really masculine. You'd be, say, the support person, or you would hold on, or you would attract, say, a father, a brother, or a husband, right? That you would always have to support or take care of. So that kind of pattern. And then your life gets put on hold again, like dual identities, your identity, and then it's like, shit, I have to be this person to support this other person. So it's almost like a split right down the middle for you. Even if you look at your body structure, half of you would be very different than, your left half is very different than your right half, right? Like your arm, and one arm compared to the other arm, very different. This is the reason why, the elevation starting tomorrow, 18 days for sure, starting in March. By the way, we're doing a Heal Yourself, Heal the World event. It's live. It's only live. It's in Florida. If you guys can make it, highly recommend it. It's a whole new beginning for all of you. It's going to be a fantastic transformation, especially for those who are ready to transform and get out of the bullshit that is happening to this country and the world. Why successful people like Chesley Christ and their lives. So it's the link, the team. By the way, I've got a fantastic team. I don't do this alone. Faye, all the other individuals, Yami, and all those people behind the scenes, guys, they're doing a fantastic job getting all this information out to you. John looks like he has softened up. Yep, always fearful, always going, shit, this isn't going to work. All that. Many of you might be like that, but give it a try. Think of it this way, guys. Those people go, that doesn't work. I don't believe that stuff. I need data and stuff. Why? I can try the elevation. Look at your life. Is it working for you? If it's not working, I'd fucking try something else, right? Simple as that. You don't have to wait for scientists to tell you to go, hey, you know what? We'll wait another 10, 20, 40 years and go, oh yeah, that works. But 40 years, you'll be fucking dead. Guys, just jump in, give it a try. If it doesn't work, but most likely it'll work. Let's see, like discovering my right hip is someone different. John is releasing, just repeated December 18 days. How am I doing? This one, Hannah, just repeated December 18 days. It was really fantastic, wasn't it? How am I doing? Scan me, please. So Hannah, for you, what's happening is that you're taking over your life. You've always, somebody else has always taken over you. Somebody else has always told you what to do. You start something and somebody would poo-poo it. It's like, Hannah, that's not going to work out. Follow me. And then it's like, well, shit, I don't have enough confidence in myself. I'm going to follow me. I'm going to follow somebody else. And then their idea doesn't work. It's like, damn, you've done it 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4, almost. You're stepping into the 5th time. Hannah, don't do it. Right? Again, do not do it. Again, you can make your own judgment, but I would suggest not doing it. And then follow your own lead, because you've done, this is where I call it confirming your deletions, Hannah. This is where you're getting an opportunity, because that's what you're supposed to delete, right? You're getting that opportunity to be yourself. And then for you to confirm again, because it's against willpower. It's against not willpower. It's against free will to, reprogram you or rewire you, excuse me, without your consent. So what's happening for you and many others, again, you're getting into a crossroads where it's like, shit, should I follow my own concepts or feelings, or should I go back and not trust myself? So that pattern, again, you've tried it 4 or 5 times. It hasn't worked, Hannah. So don't worry about your judgment, your habits, your emotions of self-worth and so on like that. That's getting tested. Basically, your higher self is going, hey, Hannah, you know what? You have an opportunity to start your whole new life. Do you want to go that way, or do you want to go back to your old self? So again, don't trust your emotions at this level. Just go towards that one direction that you're getting pulled towards, and it's really strong. Follow that, and then you get to delete the self-worth patterns, I want to say slight abuse type patterns that you have. Yeah. So good stuff. Congratulations, by the way. I talk too much. It's so much energy running multiple identities. Yes, it is. Scan, please. This is Joanne. This is Laura. So Joanne, you've done a great job. This midsection area, really fantastic for you. It's almost like you're getting a whole new identity, or like you're getting a whole new identity, a whole new possibility of who you are. But what's really happening for you is you're pushing away how you're aging, which is really fantastic. So this is a new sense of self. A lot of, say, experiences that you've had possibilities of experiences, but you've never taken it, or for some reason they didn't show up for you. So again, it's your opportunity, Joanne, to go, shit, I'm jumping in life. So this is like your second chance on life. By the way, the 18-day hyper meditations, it's about second chance on life. Please scan my mom. It has been a tough day. This is for Kristen. So what you're doing is actually what you're doing is, it's not about your mom. It's just that you've changed so much. You're not supporting your mom's pattern. So as your mom ages, and she seems a little mentally unstable, by the way, or always latching onto you. What happens as she ages and get closer to death, her patterns will, say, suffocate you. And now that you've done XI and all that, you've seen how much they've suffocated you, and you've done a fantastic job, like pushing it that all the way. And the reason why you want me to scan your mom is because, you know what, Moss? I don't want to have that burden or that obligation of, well, taking care of my mom frequency wise. You can still take care of them physically, but basically I don't want to turn into my mom. I've done all this work with you, and this is, can you just finalize it for me and take care of my mom so I can move forward again? Because there's that guilt pattern in you. Does that make sense? Guilt is always that. So when you feel guilty, by the way, Joanne, run the other way. When you feel guilty, you're on the right track. Feel more guilty, because that's the emotion that has destroyed you. Again, it's like, shit, now I got to go back to help this person, right? You have a great opportunity, but it's like, oh, damn it. I'm going to feel guilty, so I'll succumb or let go of my life to help so-and-so. Again, when your mother, again, as she ages, gets closer to death, that's what's going to happen. You're going to let go of your life, and then, again, your mother takes over. So what you're doing, congratulations. So take a deep breath in for you, Joanne, and then those who are similar. Again, let's move that off you. There you go. Where you go, whew, I can still take care of my mom, love her, and all that stuff, you know, if you want to, but I don't need to carry her burdens. This is where, you know, shoulder issues and all that stuff that she might have or grandma might have had, you don't have to. It seems like you start to curve in as you age. You don't have to have that. Bitcoin update. Yeah, so I do that really for the BTM, but overall, I give you the specifics for the Breaking the Matrix group. But for general probabilities, guys, will it go lower? It kind of like stays level, kind of goes up and down. And then, by the way, I've been accurate, right on. And then, you know, mid-February, March, and so on, it's always a good time. Again, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not a financial analyst, but overall, it's always a good time to buy. By the way, this pattern began to work. Chelsea, Chris. This one is Devine. Hi, everyone. I'm new to this. I just found this channel yesterday, watched a few of his last videos, trying to put two and two together. So yeah, is it Davina? Yeah, so Davina, I'll just work on it if you don't mind. So Davina, basically, you know, what you've done is like, shit, you've done a ton of stuff. You've been researching. It's like, no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And you're right, it doesn't work. So you're a truth detector. You'll see what people are telling lies, or are they coherent, or, you know, so again, congratulations, welcome to this channel. So for you, yeah, so for you, what's happening, again, you've always like, since a lot of things haven't worked for you, right? Relationships, it's like they're going fine, and then all of a sudden it's like, it just disappears. Like, what the hell happened? What did I do wrong? What am I doing wrong? Again, there's nothing that you're doing wrong, but you're on a leash. Right? You can only go so far on a leash. You can only experience so many things. How many of you like this? How many of you are like Davina, right? You get to a certain point, you have a successful career, and all of a sudden it just like, boom, vanishes. It's like, what happened? Or you get into a relationship, three of them. It's like, God, they've been really good relationships, and all of a sudden it's like, They don't call me anymore. They don't text me. They don't do whatever. It's like, what happened, right? It's a leash. You can only go so far to the level of consciousness or success or awakening. And then you either snap back or you stay there. But if you stay there, you feel like your life is not going forward. It happens to a lot of successful individuals, by the way. They get to a certain level of success. Some people call it, the glass ceiling, especially for women. They get to a certain level of success and they can't break that, right? It's just a leash that you're on. It's not that you can't break it, but the key is that if you break it, what will happen is that success will destroy you. And that's the other aspect of, say, this pattern that you're running. This is where people who become success overnight, or like Anthony Bourdain and so on like that, they get to a certain level. This is what happened to Chelsea Christ, by the way. Right? They get to a certain level, and success after success, it's like, shit, I feel like crap, and then boom, she has to like drop down. So this is Chelsea, for example, is an extreme version. It's like, oh, I'll try something else. She gets successful. It's like, I don't feel like good. I don't feel that great here. It's like, what's the big deal? And then I'll go try some other career. I'll go try some other career. So again, boom, you hit the glass ceiling. You have to break down. The key is that if you break through that glass ceiling, so it's actually a good safety valve for you. Because if you break through that glass ceiling, the way your pattern is, you would probably end up becoming very, very unstable and destroy your life, destroy yourself. So that's why you always have to. So I would suggest a session, or at least the elevation for you to understand, since you're new here. Basically, you'll have to stabilize. I can get you to stabilize, and then you can not break the glass ceiling, but just open the thing up. There's a door, guys. You don't have to like crush your head and break and get all cut up breaking the glass ceiling. You don't do that. You just fucking open the door and you stand on that ceiling, and then you move on. But if you did break through, this is where people like you who become highly successful start to, say, again, get manipulated, get destroyed, get abused. A lot of women run this pattern. This is the Harvey Weinstein scenarios. This is where the top models, gorgeous women, intelligent, and then they get fucked up, they get used and all that. Those kind of patterns, that would be, say, your pattern. So again, for you, it's a safety valve on why you haven't gone past that. Okay. And again, Davina, write in if you're new. As we have to get going, we worked on you guys a little extra because, again, I kind of felt bad last time I wasn't here because of travels, and you guys all love that scan. So, all right. So as we end, guys, notice what you notice. Notice the details. Next week, it's going to be about, again, why future, why data analysis, computer simulation, all that is why future vision is a lot better than any of those, and how to be more accurate. All right, guys, for now, peace. Notice what you notice. Notice the details. Oh, Davine, that was right? Yeah, she wrote in. She typed in, so Mike, oh my God, thank you so much. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, crazy, isn't it? So again, probably a believer now. So again, people like Davine, by the way, who are highly successful, those 1%ers that, come into that success. What happens is that you all change so much from XI. Those people who have done like Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins, and all that stuff, fantastic individuals that you can learn a lot from. But the one key component that's missing is the underlying frequencies, your foundation. That's what XI does. XI is not a replacement for, again, Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins, and all that. Again, fantastic individuals, but this is a whole different, say, level that you need to, say, take care of to be truly successful. All right, with that, guys, thank you. Thank the team. Peace.